Well, what can I say? She's come all the way from the States, and 2 days ago, and guess what? No jet lag. She lasted longer than me on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. So this is the energy of a spiritual person who lives in honor, truth, integrity, love, morality, service, because this is her life. Mataji lives in the ashram. Ashram is a place where people grow spiritually and live like brothers and sisters, families, that our master Sri Swami Satchidananda has set up. And the reason we ask Mataji every year to come, she's a really special guest, and is because the purity in her, she lives, truth is one, paths are many. Her life is karma yoga, which means serve without anything in return, because they really don't get much in return. They get a lot of love. And her day starts like 4:30 in the morning, and then at that time she goes to the dormitories, and anybody who's staying at the ashram, she plays her beautiful violin, wakes people up with joy, and then she goes to guest services, then she does the puja, which is a prayer ceremony where our master was buried, and then she teaches the children, then she doesn't stop. Then at lunch, when we're all having lunch, she reads to us from Gurudev's books, and the last one to eat, and this goes on all day long, every day.
But it's always new.
And thank you, Mataji.
It was really, really wonderful. And to begin with, I would like to congratulate you on this beautiful center that you have now, that you can call the Integral Yoga Center, and this beautiful, beautiful home environment for the center, the hall that was given by Nalanie's uncle, her daddy, actually.
George Harleela's my dad.
Yes.
He's no longer here.
So it's the George Harleela Hall, so that we remember the beautiful, beautiful gifts. And you know that this is one of the teachings of today's talk, that it's always new. Every time that you come into this hall, it will be a new experience. You're coming for a hatha class. There'll be some new students in the class. Maybe you'll have a different teacher you had last time. Maybe there'll be something, like if you look out the door, and did everybody see something new in the garden plot when they came? Did you?
No. He told me. Praying.
First, the beautiful birdhouse came this morning, and this afternoon came the beautiful, beautiful statue of a praying young girl, who is one who is in love with Our Lady of Montserrat, the Black Madonna. I understand this is one of the devotees of Our Lady of Montserrat, and she is pictured like Bernadette would be from Lourdes, or Francesca from Fatima. You have these beautiful images, and every time you would see it, it's different. It's weathered a little bit, and you are weathered a little bit, because even right now you are minutes older than you were when you came at 6 o'clock. And in that you have a new perception of something. Maybe some of you are here for the first time, and you're here just a few minutes, and you meet new people, you see new people, and you are changing. That, when Nalanie was talking about living at the ashram, sangha, having satsang, which we are having right now, where we're talking with each other about uplifting ideas and subjects. And it depends on the group of people that we are with, because we are exchanging energy. How important it is to have good company. And this is the value of coming together like this, where people have high expectations of their life, goals in life, and each moment they find themselves moving ahead, slipping back, catching themselves, and moving ahead again. Those of you that have studied Raja Yoga realize that's one of those obstacles along the way. And the big thing is, catch it. Don't let yourself slide back very far. Stop, hold tight, and settle down. Tent overnight if you're on the mountainside till the weather clears and you feel better, and then continue the climb later. You don't walk down to base level every time the storm comes up. So life is like that. And we need the goals in life to keep moving ahead. And we, as Master Shivananda would always say, adapt, adjust, accommodate. See? You feel every moment, you have your plans, you have your goal in mind, and you have a way of stepping forward. But if something comes in the way, you adapt, adjust, and accommodate to that so that you can keep on going. And that is, in a way, is the topic of our sharing this evening. And I'm calling it a sharing because I would like for you to participate a little bit. We get to a certain point, if you have questions or if you have something from your own life experience to add to that, just raise your hand and join. Because when we try to say, oh, would you teach me something? I can't teach you. Do you realize that? You have to teach yourself. Because only when you teach yourself do you learn. That's why some people, when they attend a new class or they go to learn some project or something like that, they realize till you get your hands in it yourself, you really don't know what it's all about. Have you ever been to somebody who loves to collect recipes? And they have a tin of their favorite recipes, and every time they find a picture of that recipe, they paste it there and they look at it and mouth waters as they're looking to that. Which is your favorite recipe? And they pull a card, and then all of a sudden you get the shock of your life because they've never tried cooking any of these recipes. They're inviting you to come to a meal with the choice of your favorite recipe. And so you ask the unfortunate question, have you ever made it before? And they say, no, but look how beautiful it is. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be so delicious. You say, well, why don't you try it first, and then I'll come. Try it first. Have you ever tried a recipe directly from a book and made no change whatsoever after you ate your first thing? Don't you realize you've always made a little change? Always. Which is a sign that you're a good cook. Because you are really experiencing that recipe through your own hands, through your own effort, through your own experience. And that's the point that we want to share with that, because every one of us is going to experience exactly the same thing in a new way. Because we are unique. And when we come together like this, it's the sharing of how you would experience something that is so important to share with somebody else. And that, in a sense, makes our understanding of something bigger and deeper and more enjoyable. So let's begin singing this little song. Just like you chant the Hari Om. I think that the other night you were chanting the Shambho also.
Yes.
So I think you know it. Let's do a beautiful Om together, and let's hum on that Om. Put your right hand on top of your head, and when you chant the Om, it's going to be beautiful. But as soon as you start humming, you're going to feel the top of your head buzzing. Ready?
Shambho, Sachidanandaya Om, Sachidanandaya
Hari Om. Thank you so much. That was good energy. You got energy from one. I got energy from 20 something. That is the reward when you are with people that respond and have that enthusiasm and that joy. You are the beneficiary. And each one of us is able to receive that energy. And it's never the same. It's never, never the same. If we would sing that song again, some people would say, you know, been there, done that. It wouldn't be the same again. Because you've done it before, now you can do it even better than you did. So it's a new experience, do you see? When we say that things are new, we want to understand, well, what does new mean? What does new mean? It's something? What?
New?
It's something that is new. And why would you choose that word new for it rather than saying it's something
Never done
I never
before.
done.
it's something that maybe you've never done before. Or it's something that you did yesterday and so you're doing it again. So it's a new thing for you today, right? So whenever you think of something being new, you are bringing a very deep insight into your experience of the moment. You are admitting that you're looking forward to enjoying it on a new level, a deeper level than when it was totally new to you the first time. When you come to it the second time, you have an idea of what to look for, and you try to do something a little different this time. If you've ever played a game, and you play that game the second time, you realize, I'm having more fun now than I had the first time, because now I know what the game's about. And because I know what the game is about, I try to get one step ahead of myself so that I'm better able to play this game. So it's constantly a new thing. And you know, when you want to experience something, God gave us 5 different senses. He gave us 2 eyes, not just one. And every time that you look at something, you perceive it a different way. Maybe the time of the day makes it different. Have you seen something in the early morning when, do you have much fog here in the morning? Usually in the evening the fog rolls in over it. When you have to see something through the fog, even though it's your own house, that you know exactly what your house looks like, but in the sunshine, in the shade, in the rain, if it's snowing, if the wind is blowing strongly, it's a different beauty that you see. It's not the same thing. How can your eyes see? What is it in nature that your eyes see?
Contact lenses?
What does he say?
Contact lens.
Contact lens, very good. So the lens wake up the eyes in order to be able to see. And what does that eye perceive? Light. light is the media for sight to take place. In pitch dark, you don't see. Yes, your eyes are open and everything, but you don't see. Isn't that interesting? When we don't understand something, what do we say? I'm in the dark. You have many connotations for that. So the eye needs to have light in order to perceive. And every time there's different light, things look different. Have you ever eaten at a table with candlelight? Then with the ceiling light? And then with those lights that pull up and down over the table? Doesn't a meal look different in candlelight and in the ceiling light or a floodlight or something? The food, it just, sometimes you say, oh, it's more enjoyable when I'm eating with candlelight. There's something mystical, magical about the way the flame gives a little shadow and moves. Do you see what I'm saying? It's new. It's not the same. Even if you are eating every Sunday with candlelight at your supper, it's never the same. Because it's not going to be the same situation, and you're different. So your eyes immediately give you these very, very different experiences. And with light, what can your eyes see?
Everything.
You see the object, you see people, you see movement, you see color, right? It's always new. And you're not going to see exactly the same shade of color as I see. None of us will. Because none of our eyes are exactly the same. I remember before I had cataracts removed about 15 years ago, when you get to that point, a dark brown, a dark green, a dark blue, you hardly see the difference. Get your cataracts and it's like, oh, I see light blue, medium blue, dark blue, all the greens. You can choose threads. Those of you that are artists and paint, it's painful not to be able to see those colors. That's the magic of your eye, the gift of your eye, that gives newness to every moment. What's another sense that you have?
Smell.
Excuse me?
Smell.
I didn't get the word.
Smell.
Smell, good. Now, what is it that the nose perceives? The smell, the sense of smell. What does it perceive?
Air.
It perceives the air, the odor. It perceives odor.
The smell of it?
Actually, the smell of it and the change in the smell. How many of you have walked into the house when someone is preparing a meal, when the meal is being cooked, and when the meal is on the table? Have you noticed the different odors that come from the stages of preparation of the food, right? It's exciting. It's exciting. And you know, you treasure the sense of smell because your life depends on that in a way. People who have lost their sense of smell, or maybe they never had it, they don't understand what you're talking about. They don't smell. And when you don't smell, you also don't taste very well. So don't you realize how different the experience of eating a meal is going to be for that person from you. How different that will be when you don't taste. Or when you don't smell. And when you can taste, the taste bud, you have the speech with the tongue. That's another sense of taste. How interesting it is to taste. Something is salty, something is hot, something is cold, something is bitter, something is sweet, something is rough to the taste, something is like a soup or a highly cooked vegetable, something is sort of soupy, we would say. So the sense of touch with the tongue is very, very interesting. How if somebody would ask you what's the difference between eating an apple and having a peach, or eating a persimmon, are you sensing that? Your apple would be more crisp, wouldn't it? The peach would be rather juicy, but you still have to chew it. What about a ripe persimmon? It's gooey, isn't it? But very good. Juicy and gooey, very different from a peach. And if you've ever tried a persimmon before the cold hits it, as soon as you take the flavor, it just draws your cheeks in. It's not ripe, it's not ready to be eaten. So the tongue, the taste, is an extremely interesting sense that you have. And all 5 of the senses help us to experience the newness of everything that we do. Each sense has its own part to play. What about your sense of touch? What does that sense give you? What kind of an experience?
Pleasures.
Yes?
Pleasure.
Gives you some pleasure, very good.
You can feel the heat or cold.
You feel the heat or cold. It's different from what we said, hot or cold for the tongue, for the taste. To feel something it's different. And you can feel the roughness of a surface or the smoothness. That's why when you go to a museum, they have a touch and show section for the children in particular. But who of us wouldn't love to feel material, or to feel a sculpture, or to feel a wood carving? You just put your hand on a beautiful piece of furniture that in wood that natural wood that's been waxed, and it's different from a piece of metal. The sensation is different. And remember, if you don't experience with these 5 senses and try to enjoy the 5 senses and what they can give you, you're missing close to 85–90% of your life experience. You're very much on the surface. But you know what? It takes time. And most of us say we don't have time to enjoy what the 5 senses can share with us. I don't have time. What is it? You don't have time to do something carefully now. How in the world are you going to have time to do it again? Because if you don't do it carefully and finish it well, you're not going to be satisfied with it. So if you don't have time to do what you're doing, well, forget it to do it again. How are you going to find that time? So in truth, we need to take the time in whatever we are spending our day doing to enjoy each of the things we're doing. That's what life is all about. Life, Gurudev used to say, Swami Sachidananda would say, life is for
Living.
life is for fun. And you know, you can't say anything is fun unless it's fun in the beginning, it's fun while you're doing it, and it's fun in the end. Look at some experiences that you have that you're sorry you did. It was probably fun when you started, but it started to turn sour halfway through, and when you finished it, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Now, that same opportunity is going to come because that's the way life is. You do have things that come back over and over again. But what should your first experience of something do for you? Open your eyes. It should give you an initial experience. So if a similar thing comes around again, you should be able to say, sorry, you can just go, I'm not going to try you again. Not because you're saying that, been there, done that, but you realize this isn't the time for me to do something like that again, because the end result of that is not beneficial for me and for others around me. I mean, there are things we have to learn. And until we learn that, those experiences come back and we make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Not because the situation is not new, it's because we are looking at it in the old way. We're not looking at it with our past information and our past growth. That's what the past is all about. To be a little more aware in the present so that we're ready for the future to come with new enjoyment. So the very first thing we need to do is, our little chart tells us, to wake up. Wake up so that we can live in the golden present. Live in this present moment as fully as possible. Maybe somebody has asked you to go to a movie and you'd say, oh, I saw it last week and I'd rather not do it. Is there anything else you would like to do? And so I would say, oh, I really want to go to the movie and I'd love to go with you because I always enjoy your insights and your perceptions, and after the movie we can talk about it. And you said, okay. Your first impression was, been there, done that. Do you see? But you go to the movie again. How many of you have ever seen a movie twice? And sometimes even more than that.
Yes.
And each time you go, you see something different. You hear something different in a conversation that you don't remember hearing before. You understand a situation that's happening better because now you know the beginning and you know what happened afterwards, and so now you see why that middle had to happen in order for this to... Do you see, you are enjoying the experience again. When you see it a year later, someone asks you, I saw it twice already. No, I'm going to go again. How many of you wonder, is that a new addition to that movie? You realize that when you are awake and perceive things that happen around you, nothing is ever the same. Because the same is boring. But usually people that are bored are asleep. See, they're not interested. They're not paying attention. They're not absorbing something. They're not active in participating. So they're bored. And mentally they're asleep, really. So when we realize, maybe you made a resolution at the New Year time. Some people do, some people don't. The people who made one resolution are probably still having fun with that. The people who made 5 or 6 have dropped number 6, number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1 is already getting a little anemic.
We lost the list.
Because to really focus on something and be transformed by your focus on something, it takes time. But if you have only one thing to put your awareness to and really work with it, you can change a habit if you give yourself, they say 3 weeks, 21 days. If you stop or start something for 21 days, by the 22nd day, it will be almost spontaneous to you. Like getting up at a certain time. If you really do it straight through, on the 22nd day, you sort of wake up at that time. Whether you get up or not, that's up to you. But you'll find, I awake. And that it becomes a habit. Don't take that as a negative statement. There are certain things that even though it is a habit, you wake up in the morning, if you want to go to a 5 o'clock meditation, you better wake up at 4:30. By the time you take a quick shower, dress, get yourself ready, and walk to the meditation room, you've taken 25 minutes, that's for sure. So when you get up at 4:30, you look at your watch and you say, "Good morning, God! I'm getting up this morning." But the person, the first time they have to look at 4:30, they wake up a little, good God. You see? There are lots of ways to wake up. And what you would like to be able to do is to have that positive light shining on your attitude. You know, there are stories of experience, and maybe you've had that experience. You've come home from a really busy day. And you've been on your feet or walking or sitting and standing and on the phone, and well, now just the phone is not enough now. You're sitting in front of a computer and your eyes are glazed by the end of the day, and you've done this now for 2 or 3 years, and now you have this syndrome in your wrist from typing and so on. You've had it. And you came home and somebody has your parking place. So you're driving around trying to park the car. You come inside. You kick off your shoes and flop into the chair and you say, I don't care, if nothing happens, I'm not doing anything tonight. The phone rings, I'm not answering it. Rings again, not going to answer. Rings again. Hello. Is that you, Mataji? Who is this? Oh, this is Susie. Susie? Notice the change in the voice? Where are you? Well, I just flew into Gibraltar and I thought I'd call you because we have a meeting and I'm free tonight. You're in Gibraltar? Oh my goodness! So, where are you staying? Well, I'm at, I don't know, what's the hotel?
Holiday
Yes. Well, what's your room number? I'm in 216. I'll be right there. What had happened? How long did that take?
6 seconds.
What changed? The weather?
The shift and the different, the new.
Did the daylight saving time come in? What changed?
The attitude is exciting.
My attitude. What changed my attitude?
A good friend. The
A
joy.
good friend. Do you see? The joy of hearing from a good friend. So was I really, now come think about it, was I really that tired?
No.
Because if I was really that tired, could I change that quickly?
No.
It's interesting. Gurudev once had a very a good story. In the Connecticut ashram, we were clearing some area, like it would be like the area of the backyard here. And we had to clear because they had, Connecticut is sort of glacier country from thousands of years ago. So there were rocks all over. And some of the rocks were crumbled, and so there are stones that you can pick up, and some are, sort of heavy. And so they had made a couple sacks of rocks, and he wanted them taken away. So he was just saying, could someone take these rocks and put them out to the truck, and then they'll carry them away. The sponge is too heavy. I can't carry that much. Okay. What about you? Can you carry that? Well, I'd love to, Swamiji, but I hurt my shoulder, and I've been helping, picking things up, and my shoulder. Well, those really, that sack over there, it's really not rocks. They're gold bricks. Which of you could carry that sack now? You see the same thing with an attitude change. You would push and pull and drag if it were gold bricks. If they were given to you, you could have them. You wouldn't say, they're too heavy. You could take one at a time and you'd get them. But this is the game that we have to play. And this is the game of recognizing the situation is new. Do you see? A moment ago, that was a sack of rocks. Now, it's a bag of gold bricks. A few moments ago, I just came in from a tiring day and running around trying to park the car, and I come in the house and kick off my shoes, and I don't care if the roof falls in. A phone call, a voice from someone that I know well and would love to see, boom! The day is new again. It's what again?
Attitude.
It's a new moment. Do you see? That's how quick things change. And when we ask ourselves, is the new year, has it become sort of old and boring after not much more than a month and a half? It's not even 2 months old. And for some people, it's already boring. And what we want to do, not just with this year, but what we want to do with our life. Can I face the moment that's coming to me in a new way? How do I do it? How can I change my perception of what's in my face right now? I have to look at it in a different way. I have to be able to discover in this something that I haven't been able to see before in that situation. How do I do that? Wake up. You have to wake up. Because when you wake up, you open your eyes. But do you see everything?
No.
Just because your eyes are open, do you see everything? No. So someone would say, well, yeah, my eyes open, I'm looking around. Why don't I see what you see?
Attitude.
Somebody would say, it's one thing to wake up. It's one thing to have your eyes open, but it's one thing to be there. Well, aren't I always there? No. Your mind is someplace else. That's why you don't see the little things that could make that particular moment pleasurable, enjoyable. Do you see? You miss it. Just because you're daydreaming and off somewhere. Gurudev used the joke, play with words. He loved to play with words. When you want to understand something, stand under it. Get the play? If you want to understand something, get under it. If you want to siphon something, if you wanted to pour into something else, do you hold the hose up?
No.
Do you hold the hose a little lower? You better hold it a little lower. Otherwise, the material will not transfer from one thing to another. So it's the same thing. If I want to receive something from you, what do? You're trying to offer me something. What do I do with my hand?
Put
Put my hand up here?
No.
No. You put your hand under. Do you see the play with words, but at the same time? What is knowledge? Knowing something without a ledge. Do you get it? doing something without a ledge. You know, when they said that the earth is flat, what were they afraid of? Falling off. Do you see? Once they knew that it just went on and on and on and circled around in that way, then you're not afraid of falling off the edge. You know. You know, when you find someone whose original language is not English, having that magic of speaking in ways that you as a native English speaker, you don't think of something like that right off. And you realize, isn't that a wise saying? Knowledge means knowing something without a ledge. You know it straight through. And so, when we are moving along, trying to experience something in our life, we realize how important it is to be present. Mentally, emotionally, be present. And I think we don't like to admit that we're not present. You know the joke, the husband is sitting, I don't know, it could be the wife too. In the joke, it's the husband. The wife is talking and telling him, Honey, you can stop saying that. I've stopped talking 10 minutes ago. So, what's happening?
He's not there.
Not present.
You're not there. You're doing something else. Your mind is somewhere else. And that is what is so, I would say, depriving to us in our life. The hard test that every moment brings us. Are you there? If you are not here, no. If you are not now here, got those words in your mind? Mm-hmm. Now here, you are nowhere. God, that's another. I don't know if that's an original with Swamiji, but he used that many times, trying to say, why did I miss seeing this, or why did I miss hearing such and such? Because you weren't there. Yes, I was standing right there. My mind was somewhere else. So if you want to have this beautiful experience in your life, where you are able to catch the newness of every moment, there's a requirement. And what is it? I have to be there. I have to be there. And you know, it is a practice that we can have to pay attention to what is being said, what is being done around me, what am I experiencing, and enjoy asking, what are you experiencing? So that I grow in the ability to recognize different aspects of a similar experience. when some people would come into this room, the first thing they would see when they came in was the beautiful garden, because they just entered from the door. And as they stepped in a little bit, like, oh my goodness, look at this beautiful, what is this? Oh, it looks like an altar. And look at that beautiful, this art piece here. It looks as 3D. I've never seen anything like that. 3-dimensional. I bet it's handmade. I think the hand maker is sitting with us, right?
Yes. Our Annie. Yes.
Isn't that something? I mean, it's awesome. And then I walk over and I look outside, and as I'm walking over, I see different beautiful pictures and statuary and so on. I think, this is so inspiring. But you know what? There may be someone that comes in the room, puts their mat down on the floor, flops down, lies down. That's it. Mentally, they're sound asleep. And when class is over, it's dark, and they say, I really feel wonderful. And they leave the room, and their friend is going afterwards, wasn't that a beautiful room that we had for our class? Did you notice that altar piece? What altar piece? So, when we go through things with other people, well, this was years ago. My mother was an artist, and artists have eyes that, I don't know, they look like they're from the front of their face, back of their head, both sides, top of the head. They see everything. When we would go traveling together, if you would see Mama's sketchbook, the whole trip was there. But not photographs, sketches. Do you see? A sketch. You got the spirit of something in that sketch. There was movement. There was, and it would be with usually those black pencils. Then you pull off that little paper thing that runs around. It's a waxy type of a pencil. There was life to each one of those sketches. You were there. We went all over Europe together, and I tell you, her sketchbook books were better than photographs. And you know what? Because she was sketching it, Mama was there at the moment. People who take photographs, you know, they're going around like this. They haven't, with their own eyes, observed and taken in the experience. And they even say that. Oh, when I get home, you see, I'll have the photographs, you know, and I'll get to see it. They don't see it. We were living in Washington. Have any of you been to Washington?
Yeah.
You know where the Mayflower Hotel is, National Geographic building or something. Mama lived right there. So she said, let's go for a walk, darling. We'd walk outside. She was playing a game with me. When we come back, we're going to share what we saw. So we come back, and naturally she wants to know, what did I see? So I saw some nice things. But she said, oh, darling, you missed something very beautiful. What, Mama? I'm not telling you, we're walking again. So we go out walking. We had to walk 3 times. And she had to give me a hint. We're on this block on your left side. Oh, she was getting desperate. So all of a sudden, in the middle of the block, I'm looking. Oh, my goodness. In the city, the back of a building, sometimes below the sidewalk, about 8 feet down, would be a place where the garbage can would be. And so there were steps going down, and they would pick up the garbage. Well, there was a company that bought that space, and they put a glass wall, and this became a beautiful little Japanese pond with a bamboo pole sticking out. But, I mean, you have to look below the sidewalk. It wasn't up here on eye level, it was down here. Well, as you're walking up and I see this ditch thing, my expectation is garbage disposal. So I'm looking for something that's a little more appealing. Can you imagine 3 times around the block before I saw that? Mama was really upset. Darling, how are you going to get along in life if it takes you that long to see the beauty around you? I said, well, Mama dear, how long did it take you to see that? Oh, I saw it the first time I walked. And that, see, the artist in us can develop, and we can have that perception. But you know, if you, I looked in sketchbooks and I saw the sketchbook with that little view. That was her first walk, and how she sketched that in the sketchbook. It was not a photograph of that. And do you know how she did it? I don't know what time of the day it was, but she had a sketch of the glass window and the little pond and that bamboo pipe was dripping water. And she saw it in the window, in the glass, and that's what she sketched. Not hanging over and looking down and seeing it, but she saw that. Wow. I don't know, I can't forget that. This has been maybe 40-some years ago. Because that's what I want to be able to do. Not because I'm imitating her, but I'm emulating the beauty of being able to see beauty all around you. And it makes something new. It makes it different. Every time I've come now, I've been here 2 days, walking in, there's something new in this room every time I walk in.
This week. Lots of changes.
Do you see?
Yes.
But if I wouldn't look around, I could just sort of come in and just enjoy being here, because the vibration is lovely in here. I love the feeling of being together. But you want to come in and take it in, and that gives you a new experience of the room. Do you see? That's what life is all about. Making it fun to experience something new wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and in that way you're always full of smiles. Does that mean you never see the pain and the ugliness of things that are around you? No, it doesn't mean that at all, because then you're blind too. But do you know what? How many of you have read Gertrude Stein, The Rose, that poem? You know, it starts out, a rose is a rose is a rose, and oh my goodness. But do you know what? I don't see a rose, but if you would have a rose, and you want to see that rose, you better do exactly what that poem does. You want to pick up the rose. Let's say this is a rose. First you look at the rose like this. But what, do you know what's back here? Do you know what's under here?
No.
Do you know what it looks like to look into the center of it? It's a different experience. So you first turn the rose around and you look at it. A rose is not exactly the same all around. The petals are different. The way they curl. Some petals are enclosed like this with another petal outside. And some of them, sometimes it's this way, and there's another one on the outside. And only back here do you have one that's tucked in on both sides. You don't see that if you don't turn the rose around. If you look inside, if the rose is closed like a bud, what do you see? Sort of a solid type of a center with just little things. But if the rose is opened up, what do you see? You see the little pollen seed-like things in the center of the rose. You wouldn't see that if you didn't look inside the center. Then you hold the rose up, and what do you see? The sweet little cup that rose is in, those little green petals that come around. And then some thorns that you can feel. This is having the experience of that rose, do you see? All of a sudden, a rose is a rose is a rose. And you feel, oh, I'm seeing this rose for the first time. Isn't that exciting? Do you see? That's what you call experiencing the moment, experiencing that flower. And that rose will never be the same again. Because you know, the next time someone gives you a rose, it has a different color, it has a different fragrance, it has a different shape and form. And it's a new experience for you. But you know, there are people that get a dozen roses and then there a dozen roses. And they don't take time to even see any difference of one rose from another. They got a dozen roses. And they're in a vase, beautiful, and that's it. But if you would take the time to look at each rose, you say, I don't have time to do all of that. Okay. Be poor. Be poor in your life experience. Yes.
I think, like you said, the misconception of time, that we don't have time. And unfortunately, I recognize myself when you held the book up and you're like, yeah, or no. And because with my child sometimes, you know, you're cooking the dinner, you have the bathtub running in the back, he's sitting there and he's like, and guess what, and guess what? And do you know, and yeah, and you're just chopping away, and it's not very present. I mean, it's sad to say. Not with the water in the bathtub, not with the dinner, not with him. And then, but you're thinking, how do I have time to just like put the knife down and go and sit down, and then let's go and check on the water together. I mean, it sounds so lovely, you know, but then I'm thinking, but then I'm not going to get him in bed by 9:30, and then he doesn't get his 10 hours. You see? I would
But
love
you have
that.
to make time.
I know that. I
You
know
make
that.
time.
That's the thing. You know, the mother that has one or two children finds it much more difficult to have time to do anything than the mother that has 3 and 4 children. And you think, oh, no, that can't be true. But all of a sudden you realize that I can be more attentive for a short time, really full attention. And there's satisfaction in that moment. And I'm back again to doing my chopping. You're happy because you were able to pay attention. The child was in bliss because they got all your attention for that moment, and you're still getting the supper ready. It's all in our minds that we want to do this particular thing instead of saying, you know, this particular moment of total attention can wait for 1 or 2 moments. Remember the story? I'm so tired, I'm not going to even answer the phone. Within not even 2 minutes, I'm in bliss, running off to shower and get ready to go and see somebody. Not that I do that, but I'm telling a story. So. Do you see that? That is the importance of how long it takes to really enjoy that moment. And the whoever it is that is trying to get your attention, if they would get your full attention, it would satisfy. Do you know why they keep on saying this and then this and then this? Because they're trying to find something that will make you look at them and they have full attention. Once they get your full attention, it's even, they've got it. And they're ready to let it go because they got that. I was telling a story yesterday, and I think this, it's so pathetic in a way. The family is at a restaurant, Mama, Daddy, and the little boy, and the waitress has taken the order for the parents, and then the waitress comes over. Well, good evening, young man, and what would you like for supper? And he looks sort of around and like this. I'd like a tofu puppy. Mother says, forget it. Roast, mashed potatoes, carrots. The waitress said, and what would you like to have on that tofu puppy, child? Ketchup or mustard? Ketchup. Coming in a minute. And she walks off. There's dead silence at the table. And the little boy all of a sudden says, know what? She thinks I'm real. Oh. Doesn't that hurt your heart? Yes. That's a story. She thinks I'm real. Do you think the mother and the father didn't think he was real? Sure they did. They just didn't take him seriously. Didn't give him the acknowledgement of the moment. Honey, you can have the tofu puppy when you get home, but we're at a restaurant now. Why don't you have a full meal? Do you see? No, it's just like finished. Getting roasted potatoes and carrots. When the kid was, for the first time, given an opportunity to even think, what would he like to have? So I tell you, when you are with husband, wife, or if you have the children, try to question yourself. Can I give absolutely 100% 100% of my attention to this person, even for a minute. Do you see? Even for a minute. Be there for them. You would see a totally different image of the evening, or of the morning, or whatever is the time of day. But try it. So many times we say, oh, I've tried it before and it didn't work. But this is a new moment. You see? It may work this moment. I'm different. My attitude is different. With this new attitude, with this wish that it would work and that I could put my attention there, it may work this time. Because the last time it was happening, I was just saying, I wish they'd stop talking so I could get this, the vegetables ready. Or whatever it is that is annoying to me, I'm different. I'm not going to let that annoy me. I'm going to work at it with attention. Put that to work for you. Because you know, this is a very interesting little verse. When you look into your day, and you look into your family, or you look into the office where you work, wherever you are working, you have, I hope, you have some friends that you are working with. Friendly enemies or friends. Whatever it is. You are thinking that when I'm at my job, whatever that job is, I want to feel like I belong there. But belonging is not enough. I have to participate with those who are around me, with whom I wish to belong. I have to participate. Belonging is not enough. And then you say that you care. But again, caring is not enough. I really care about what you do. Have a good time. Bye. And maybe you do, but that's not enough. You have to share with that person. There has to be some love connected to your caring. That's why usually those two words go together. You should care and share. Not just share. You know, when people want to, they say, yes, I always, I share, I have change wherever I go, and they're poor people, they're playing music and everything else, and when I go by, and I just throw something, I just open up my little thing and I throw some coins down here. Do you think those people enjoy getting those coins? I mean, really? It's thrown at them. You say, oh yeah, I think they do. Okay. But if you would stop and say, that's really some beautiful music. You're playing the harmonica, you are playing the guitar, you're singing. Thank you so much. Even if you give a 50-cent piece or a dollar bill or whatever is the change or paper that you have, what a difference that makes. Why? Because there was caring, a love that went with that sharing. You know, there are people that always say, I just love to serve. Ah. Do they serve with love? No, they just love to serve. Finish this, let's start that. Here. You feel like you're an object. But if you serve with love, people feel acknowledged. Do you see? That's the difference. So if you say that you care, then share with love and attention with those people that you feel as family and as working companions and so on. And, you know, some people say, well, I believe that. I really believe that. Do you practice that? Well, I mean, that's asking a little much. What's the old saying? Walk your talk. That is belief, do you see? Because if somebody tells you how wonderful this is or how wonderful that is, and then you ask them, have they ever done it before? Yeah, I did it once. Does that sound like it was wonderful? Would you be encouraged on their word to go ahead and do it yourself? No. You have to practice what you preach. Do you see? That's most important. And you know, being fair is not enough. You should be generous. Yesterday, I was looking for a shoehorn. And we went into a shoe store in Gibraltar, and we were asking if they had a shoehorn. Yeah, I think I have something that, and he comes out with the shoehorn. Many business people would say, let's see, I don't know how things cost in euros. What
They're pounds. We use pounds in Gibraltar.
Oh, in Gibraltar would be in pounds. What approximately? What would they charge you for
A shoehorn?
For a?
I would have no idea.
How much is a shoe on the thing?
3 pounds. 2 or 3 pounds.
It's
Okay.
expensive in Egypt, say 5.
This is a special. It's supposed to be unbreakable and blah blah blah. You know, it's a rubberized material that is stiff enough to last, and yet flexible enough to to help you to put your shoe on. And it comes out. Just have it. I'd love to give this to you. So kind of you. Just a moment. And he goes back, and he comes back again. He said, now, when they're new, they're a little stiff. And he said, I'd like to give you this one. We've been using this one for quite a while, and so it has a little flexibility to it. Now, I'll give you 2 because then you'll have a spare one. And come on. When you come from a store like that, you feel like telling a story like this. The only thing is I don't know the name of the shoe store. But you know,
Advertise it next week.
the feeling is when people do things like that, spontaneously, they're not doing it for show. They're doing it because they're not just fair, I'll give you this one. They're not putting on a demo. It's from the heart. They would like to give you something. And not only that, give you 2 because you have one, you forgot it, it's at home. Put this one in your bag so you have one with you. This is what you say, being fair is not enough. Be generous with your idea of fairness. Do you see? And we can all do that. What does Jesus say? Don't just give your coat to somebody. Don't just give your pair of shoes to somebody. Walk that mile with them. Do you see? That's the generosity that goes along. Don't just do the bare necessity. Be generous with the kindness that you show. And forgiving is not enough. People say, oh, that was really a mean thing to do, or that was really not a nasty thing to say to me, but I forgive you. Next year, something else happens and say, now this is the second time you've done that. I'm finding it hard to forgive you the second time. What did I do? Don't you remember when you did this and it was 4:15 in the afternoon and you did this? What happened?
You haven't forgotten of the
Yeah.
Forgiving is not enough.
Forget.
You've got to forget. How many of us say the Our Father prayer? What do we say in the Our Father? Forgive us our trespasses as
we forgive those trespassing us.
Uh-oh. Have you ever realized what you're saying? God, please forgive me, but forgive me the way I forgive others. Oh my goodness. I'm still holding this against so-and-so. I'm holding this against so-and-so. And I'm still angry with so-and-so. And I'm still never going to talk to so-and-so again. Oh my. Can you imagine? What do we do tonight? We go home. This is your New Year's resolution. I'm going to go through, like you brush your teeth at night, Gurudev says, brush your heart also. I'm going to go to bed with a clean heart. No more hard feelings, angry feelings. Come on, it's going to be forgive and forget, and a return to love. It's a new situation. Tomorrow's a new day. And I'm going to see that person as a new person. Just like I feel new, they can feel new. And when I greet them with a smile in the morning, maybe they weren't expecting a smile, they were expecting me to go the other way. But I give them a smile, how are they going to react? Oh, good morning. You know, it's like, isn't that wonderful? They smiled at me this morning. For the last month they haven't even looked at me. Do you see? It's a new relationship that's coming up. So remember, to forgive is not enough. Forget and forget with love. Start over. Give it again. And to teach by word is not enough. What's more powerful than the word?
Example.
The example. Yeah. You know the old saying, your actions are so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. That's it. And you know, when we talk about this life that we have, it's the biggest gift we could ever be given, a human birth. To have this life to live. And if you really want to live, you have to take that I in the word live and pull it apart a little bit. And what does it become? Love. And oh, and what does living becomes? Love. That's when you really live. When you learn to love. And when you love, everything is worthwhile. Everything. Everything is worthwhile. And you'll begin to have peace and joy in your life when you love. Because when you really love, everything is new. Everything is here for the first time. And so you enjoy it. Life becomes a game. And you have fun playing that game. And enjoying all the changes that you recognize. And so, but we would like to think, just a few ways that we've talked about tonight, to be able to keep this new year always new. Every day of the new year is a new day. Don't let it get old and crumpled and miserable. Keep it fresh and new and ever deeper and deeper. And as it gets deeper, it's like a waterfall, a water fountain. It just springs up and flows out, and everybody gets the spray of your love and your energy and your sparkle. That's life. Spread joy, spread happiness, spread the inner peace that you feel with others. I know you know this closing prayer because I think you chanted in Hatha, the Loka. Let's chant it in Sanskrit together, and then we translate it in English. And if you don't know it, you'll hear it. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May the light of truth overcome all darkness.
Victory to that light.
Jai Shri Satguru Satchidanandaji Maharaj Ki.
Jai.
What does Jai mean?
Victory.
Victory!
Mataji, Jai Mataji.
Jai.